You're not saying, at least you weren't in winter meetings, that MLB went out of their way to like really do this. Like they didn't design the turbo ball.
Oh no.
It was more negligence and just happenstance. Like this happened. They fucked this up. But they won't admit that. Instead, their reportings, they keep saying, no, we didn't find anything. People are just changing their swing, and it's this and this. Not like Manfred assembled a team and was like, let's make a Super Ball. It just kind of happened, right? That's what you found?
This is one of the reasons that I find the entire situation strange, is that every single change we've seen, including the whole, let's randomly mix baseballs together for the postseason, is related to some kind of economic decision. The thicker laces that led to the 2017 home run surge looked like it was just a supplier change. And I've since gotten sort of anecdotal confirmation that, they did change their laces supplier around then. So there you go. The 2019, the turbo ball, the reason it looks like that became that sort of rounder ball with these like seams that didn't exist because they were so flat, that looks like they actually changed the drying process. Before then, baseballs were air dried, because if you think about it, the leather has to be made wet so that it will conform to the ball. And air drying takes days. Well, if you suddenly have to make a couple 100,000 more baseballs for AAA, if you actually speed up the drying process by using, say, the equivalent of a blow dryer, that might make it easier to make that many more baseballs. So again, reasonable economic decision. It gave you a ball that the problem is that it's like throwing your t-shirt in the dryer so that it shrinks back to normal. And the problem became then that the laces that normally would have stretched didn't. So everything stayed round, and those laces stayed, literally by not stretching, kept the seams flat as well. So you got the turbo ball. What ended up happening for the postseason, and I was able to find numbers that were it was pretty cool that I was able to track them down. Baseball usage just went way up. All those extra balls you're talking about, Trevor, that ended up going to batting practice or to spring training or getting sent down to the minors, those just didn't happen. Normally, usage would have left, by the end of the season, something like 300,000 extra baseballs. And those would have been surplus. The usage went up so much, and Molly Knight actually wrote about this. These are her numbers, not my numbers. That instead of having 300,000 extra baseballs at the end of the season, they had 60,000. So they somehow went through an extra 240,000 baseballs.
Zach Campbell.
And these are her numbers. Oof. Yeah, there you go. It's all Zach's fault.
I'm trying to think why that would be. Like, there's got to be. Do you have?
She was able to track that down actually, because it obviously couldn't have just been home runs. It couldn't have just been the Garrett Cole discards. What she found was that the whole game ball authentication thing.
Yes, I was going to say
again. Awesome, cute little sticker there. They just basically did as much of it as they could, or they really upped it. And the way it was described was that every ball that left a pitcher's hand that made it back to the dugout, and it, per what Trevor was saying, those are balls that would have ended up being used somewhere else in a lot of cases. Instead of going into some bucket to then go somewhere else, they were literally being taken aside, labeled, authenticated, and removed from circulation entirely.
So we have like a Ronald Saranis bunt ground out authenticated ball.
Yeah,
some of them are really funny, actually. Like one picture in the article, and it's just one that I took that was related to the Astros Fan Fest, and they'll label what happened to the ball, and in that case, it literally just has that the ball was thrown 2 or 3 times for a ball, and was then removed.
Yeah.
If you
so it wasn't even probably part of an at bat.
Yeah.
Just thrown from the pitcher to the catcher 3 times and then got pulled and authenticated.